primarily indoors, and to the physical space of our own houses. I believe we all can agree that this has been the most challenging year in the decades. So, how can we stay positive and productive during these difficult times remains a big question. So, that is why Power of Youth has brought for you the answer to this question. For those who don't know about us, our event is an international project running under the supervision of Global Millennial MUN, striving to empower youth. Before we proceed with the webinar, can I please request Mr. Mufli Fikri, Director General of Global Millennial MUN, to give his valuable opening remarks. Mr. Mufli, the floor is all yours.
Okay, thank you, Mahika. So, am I audible? Okay, cool. So, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this webinar sessions with the topic of productivity, positive productivity during this pandemic. As we know, this pandemic has become disaster for some of the people. But what I believe is actually sometimes pandemic make us borderless. I mean, like for example, for this event, we can just chat to maybe, and then we can just listening, and then we get a lot of information, we get a lot of knowledge. That kind of thing, that kind of situation maybe will not happen during not pandemic situation. So sometimes you can get a lot of more information, you will get more fruitful discussion maybe, so you can be more productive, you can be more positive during this pandemic. And also I would like to thank you for the country ambassador Mahika, and also the team for conduct this event. So I hope this event, this next 2 hour, 3 hours will be everyone.
Thank you so much. Your words were really encouraging and has given this event a kickstart. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. I would really request all of you to switch on your videos if possible so that the event is more interactive. And if you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the chat box. I will bring them up during the presentation and we'll have time for questions at the end. And in the warm up session, you can raise your hand virtually to be recognized and express your thoughts. Also, without any further ado, we'll turn the time over to Ms. Mukta Nagpal, our guest speaker for today. Ms. Mukta is an experienced educator, motivational speaker. She's an ardent speaker and highly organized social worker. She was also the president of Innerville Panipat Midtown. She has won accolades in teaching from various institutions like Bharat Vikas Parishad, Shantanu Prakash Award, Dr. S. Radhakrishnan Award, etc. I myself have been fortunate enough to have learned from her. Fun fact, she's also very creative in sketching, painting, embroidery, and passionate about gardening. May I now please request Ms. Mukta to share her thoughts with us? Ma'am, I'll just share the presentation.
Yeah. Thank you, Maika. Thank you, Mr. Mufli. It's a pleasure being here with all of you. I'm sure I'm pretty audible to everyone, right? I take it for granted that being an educator, I'm audible. The last few months have been, initially they were, am I audible? Am I audible? And now we know that yes, I'm audible. So the pandemic has given me confidence, and I'm here to bring confidence and positivity to everyone. All of you present here, thank you for being here and having me here, share the stage with you all. And your youth energizes people like us of our age, and we do a lot of learning from you all, right? And as Mahika said, she's been a student, and now sometimes I learn from her, and I'm really proud of the fact that all the youth of the entire world is presently teaching so much to so many people, right? Not just their families, but people around them. And it's a wonderful experience learning from the younger ones. because it was always a tradition that the elders taught the youngsters, and when it comes taking it from them, people had inhibitions about it. And it and the as the topic says, positive productivity. Productivity in itself is a big term, and it does mean that whatever the outcome of any work that we do. But then why positivity? Yes, we do need positivity at this time, because positivity is the need of the hour. And just not on talking or taking across things. We do have all our curriculums and things for us to follow, but then how do we incorporate into our lives? We need to be positive, and we need to make the other people positive, and that's possibly the reason why I'm here today. So I don't want to make it a boring session. And as Mahika said, let's have our videos on. And I would like you all to add to the story. No, I'm going to begin with a short story. I'm going to give you a beginning, and let's all join in, so that I feel to be a part of you all, and you all feel to be a part of the entire group. We have many known, we have many people who are not known to us, right? So let's enjoy being a part of a small group in that story making session, right? So my cue to you all is that once upon a time, uh, as the stories usually start, once upon a time, there in a land far away, there were five people. They went together, and they wanted to solve all the problems of the world, and they started on a journey. So, this is my cue. Let's see who takes it further. You can one by one unmute yourself and take it up further, and we'll come to a conclusion. We won't even realize how we concluded it. Yes.
Anybody who wants to continue the story can raise their hand virtually, and once recognized, they can unmute themselves.
Yes, please do.
All of them went to the field and found something interesting, might be a mystery box or something.
Okay, they found a mystery box. Yes, further, somebody else.
When they started asking people who were working there on the field, they came to know that the area belongs to a king who is very negligent of his subjects.
All right. Somebody else. Great, Pragya. I cannot see many hands raised. Let's be interactive. Let's make it a story, because how does a story come forward? It comes out with us.
Any of the team members, if they want to continue.
Because, see, telling you a story, I can tell you a story, but it would be nice when I get to you as a part of the story. Uh, well,
When they opened the mystery box, they
yes.
found rotten flowers,
Hmm.
and they might start thinking who has kept that box and letters.
Okay. Further on, Mahika, would you like to add on to it?
And then maybe they start roaming around,
Hmm.
and they want to find who's the owner of the box.
Okay. And as Pragya had put up that there was this the king was not, he was a negligent king. So since
Ma'am, you're muted, I think.
opposed to muted,
Okay.
She's muted again.
it seems The host mutes me. That's what's showing on my vision, Maika. All right.
Might be some
Anyhow.
mistake.
Mhm. Anyways, uh, so we were coming to the problem solving task. What was it like? What was the problem? The problem was that the king was negligent, and then, okay. Atika, would you like to join? I can see you. Let's be interactive because the session will not be boring if we are interactive.
Can I take another chance if nobody is
They
Yes,
coming
yes,
found
up?
a letter.
sure. Okay, they found a letter. Yes, Pragya, you can carry over.
Okay, so they start asking the people who were on the field to tell them something about what they had found inside the box. As someone said that there were some rotting leaves and a letter, but nobody would tell them anything, and they
Mhm.
would get more inquisitive about it as they weren't getting any information.
Great. And now nobody is ready to speak up. Then how is this problem going to be sorted out?
So maybe they try to get an appointment with the king himself and ask him.
Okay. So they go to the king and try to talk him out about the negligence that he is doing in his duties, right? And then, since they are talking, the king initially does not like them to be interfering because he thinks that he's the king and he's the one who should be taking the decisions, right? And then suddenly, uh, his queen, she sees the fact that whatever is being said is not really very wrong, and they try to find a solution. The queen sits there and they've tried to find a solution to the negligent points, right? And ultimately, the problem of negligence is sorted out. So, how was the problem sorted out? It got sorted out by talking. And talking, conversing, talking out problems, finding solutions comes only on the table, right? On the table means when we discuss, we converse with others. That's the first point. So, this story led us to think that okay, we are at present related to the fact that any problem does have a solution. Only thing is we need to find out a way. Sometimes it could be talking, sometimes it could be some actions being taken. Yes, actions don't always mean you need to get aggressive but or revolt about something, but yes, it means subtly things can be taken over with a very thoughtful, planned, thoughtful process, right? So, can we have the next slide, Maika? So, once the stories, has it rejuvenated you, Pragya and Aditi? I think you both were rejuvenated by it. Or did the others enjoy it?
Yes, we enjoyed.
Others, if you enjoyed, give a thumbs up. Even if you didn't participate, that's okay. You heard it. Did you enjoy it? Right. So, what we personally think is that what I personally think is that any problem which is talked out or thoughtfully presented does always get you to a solution. And now, our topic for the day is how to get positivity in your lifestyle so that your efforts can be productive, right? And when do we get positivity? When we are happy about something, we are trying to do something which is entirely up to us. It's up to us to make ourselves happy and to you know uh, make the atmosphere around us happy. How can we do that? We can through personal growth. The first and foremost part is through personal growth, right? So when we are talking about personal growth, what is the major part of personal growth? And that is looking about what we are. First and foremost, our personality, the way we talk, the way we somehow communicate to the others, That is the first impression you get about me as a person. If I am sitting upright, if I am lying down and talking to you, you won't really like to hear me. But when if I am sitting upright, my posture is right, you would love to listen to me. If I am presentable enough, I have messy hair, or you would say that all right, things are working. What does my hair have to do with the work I'm doing? You may be very good with your work, right? But in case of that, my impression, then there would be many people. Out of 10, there would be 9 people who wouldn't want to listen to me, because why would they listen to me if I'm not myself presentable and I'm telling the others to do something similar, right? So it is, there is a saying, do while in Rome, do as the Romans do. So you dress up the way the Romans dress up if you are in Rome. If you are in your country, you dress up the way you do it in your country. But whenever you go out for sightseeing or tourist places, what do? You do get fascinated by the local culture. You do click pictures in their local cultural dresses or the scenic places. There is always a photographer who will be available with those kind of dresses, and everyone loves getting yourself clicked by that. So again, comes back to the same thing, that we are impressed by the outlook of any person wherever we are presenting something, right? So then we need to prioritize yourself. It's very important. What is your priority in life? You need to know what are the priorities for me. There may be 100 things which you have to do in a day, but then you don't know where. And in the morning you get up, oh my God, 100 things to do. I am really scared. How do I complete the task? So prioritize whatever is required, go ahead with it. And then you need to set achievable goals as well. You know what achievable goals means? Everyone has a goal in life, but then I may have a very big goal at the end of my career. I want to become a millionaire immediately. It's not really possible. So how do I start? I start with a smaller thing, and then I think how to reach that millionaire goal, and how that ladder which I'm going to use is going to take me there. It could be a short period. It's not something great that you can do it in the short period. But then if you want to become a doctor, you do need to study your degree, right? If you want to become an engineer or whatever profession you want to take over, you will need a degree for it. But there will be certain professions which you may not require that particular degree, right? Maybe a 2 year course would suffice you for that particular profession, right? So create somewhere you need to create the route to success. Then ecosystem is required. What is an ecosystem? It is depending on certain things, right? So can we have the next slide, Mahika? Okay. So personal growth. Sometimes presently what happens? Pandemic has got, I cannot go out, so I can't do anything. That's not really what it is. You may not be able to do something certain, but you can do a lot many other things. You'll have to look for alternate options. Fine. I wanted to become a footballer, but presently during the pandemic, I cannot go and play football outside with so many, and I cannot train myself on that. So, what's the option? You could train yourself for the same thing at your house. You could think of, organizing some small, in a smaller manner. You could train your skills on the pandemic, on the football, right? And then once we are through with this, and it's there to stay for the moment, nobody knows when it's going to end. But then you could be a part of the team. You could start your practices with proper, your precautions and all. And you could approach like-minded people who will be ready to take over the precautions along with you and be ready to be a team with you, right? So creativity can be, your goal could be shifted. You may want to be creative in something else. You may want to be creative with some other form also. Then your vision, but then vision will matter a lot. what is your vision for life? It's not just career. Is it something connected to social life? Is it something connected to your uh, friends, your family? Everything will matter, right? But motivation, who's going to motivate you? Self motivation is the best motivation, right? And you can motivate others. Once you set on motivating others, you yourself get motivated. Self motivation then comes from within, that all right, today I'm talking to a friend who's really feeling bad. Be connected, always remain connected. We do have the digital system, and you all are, all those who are part of it are lucky, because we have the digital processes in hand, right? So we remain connected and get over to people who need our, nowadays you watch so many statuses that I am there if somebody needs help. I am ready to talk. When we're talking to others, our motivation goes higher up than it was previously, right? And then we have this, how do we plan out our system? If we have a vision, we need to have proper planning for it. And considering the times, you need to plan out accordingly. If you are well planned, the day will not be a chaos for you. You have 100 tasks, you plan it out in advance. In the morning itself, pick up your proper paper, pen, or whatever you note down on, and prioritize. Okay, this is what I want and how I have to do things. Then development automatically will be a process which will follow in your planning, because you would know that what is the latest and how I'm going to take it over. Learning can be from anywhere. You could even learn from a neighbor, a small child, anybody you could. And you need to train your skills. Definitely, if your skills are trained, you will leave no stone unturned to reach your goal. And goals, of course, you had a vision, you wanted to become you wanted to become a CEO, but your goal presently is you have to have short term and long term goals. So presently, you need to clear a certain test to get admission into that course, and then further you get the degree. And the long term goal is you need to be at that position, at that place, and you the route you have marked for yourself. You have to chalk out the route, right? Can we have the next slide, Mahika? Set achievable goals. Yes, at this time, earlier we were, uh, 9 months back, we were talking about so many goals, but things have changed, and our goals have to change sometimes. It may not be an easy decision, but yes, it will be a wise decision. In case we have to think about, sometimes we want to become something and it's not practically feasible, it really hurts because we wanted to do it. So there will come a time when you can do the same thing, but presently you have to make goals which are achievable, and trust me, nothing is left unachievable in your life, right? Because people do achieve things once they are, it may take time, it may take a year, but ultimately the goal is achieved if you have set your heart into it. I'm sure you all have, when you were babies, you wanted a chocolate, you knew the ways how to tackle your parents, isn't it? Some of you did it with love, some of you cried, but you got the chocolate, isn't it? So we know the ways, and certain ways are intuitive. You get intuitions how to go about it. Then specific goals, of course, at this moment you should be specific about what is your goal, and you have to measure it. How do you measure a goal? No? In terms of time, in terms of maybe finances, in terms of, at this moment, in terms of movement. Will you be able to move out for this particular one, or you have to search an alternate method? And what would that alternate method be? Digital, virtual, isn't it? So we do come back to the digital world nowadays. So you have to be smart. and goals should be realistic. You can't imagine sitting at home and thinking, I want to become an actor, and not contacting an ad agency or an ad making agency, right? So, whatever you want to become a singer, and you don't even think of taking, just because you like singing, you want to become a singer, you have to acquire the skills. And it has to be timely. Why waste time just because there's a pandemic? We don't need to waste time. We can acquire those uh, talents, or we can polish our inherent potentials, our talents, with a little bit of practice and maybe some guidance, because music may require guidance. If you want to become a singer, if you want to become a dancer, you need to have the nitty gritties of the dance forms, right? If I want to become a dancer and I do not have the nitty gritties or the rules and regulations for which a particular, I want to take up Bharatnatyam and I do not know, or I want to take up salsa and I do not know the basic steps. What then? I need to learn those basic steps, right? And once you are into the steps, you learning the steps, you start enjoying it. And passion of course is the most important thing, but then time is the most important thing along with the passion comes once you start learning. If you don't know maths, you hate it. But if you know the basics clear, the tables are clear, the fundamentals are clear, you start loving maths. Same goes for everything, isn't it? Somebody may be scared of singing or dancing because they don't know it, and once they've started learning it, well, then you cannot stop your feet or your voice from going on and on, because you've learned it and you've started loving it. So to love anything, you need to, for that passion to come in, you need to know the basics. So have basics. And once you are designing your goal for yourself, just think about it, that it should neither be very high immediately, it should neither be too low. Don't underestimate your powers, but it should be just right. Like I said, short term goals, and then we come to long term goals. Then, can I have the next one, Maika? Prioritize yourselves, give importance to yourself. Say every day morning when you get up, just dress up very nicely, sit in front of the mirror and say, yes, I'm the best, right? But then how do you prioritize yourself to say that I'm the best? I have to be the best. Not just saying will not work. So how do I do that? Normally during these days, a lot of time is being spent on social media. Everyone picking up the phone, if nothing else, or the laptop, and then everyone is on the screen all the time. Some of you maybe 18 hours a day. What is that doing to you? It's not really helping you, maybe making you wiser, of course, but you spend that time in exercising regularly, because health is required. In order to gain something, you need to be healthy first, and for that you need to eat properly. For eating proper, a good diet, a good sleep, and drinking water. There are times when the winter sets in, or even during the summers, children with the phones in their hands forget to have even a glass of water a day. At the end of the day, when you're really parched, then you think of, oh, I didn't have water for quite a few hours. That's where you realize. But then you need to prioritize yourself. It's your body, it's your face, your pretty face, which will give you everything, right? And if you are healthy, things turn out well for you. If you are, ultimately, what happens if you don't have water for a few days, proper water? What happens? You lose on stamina, and once you lose on stamina, you don't feel like doing anything, no? Right? Then stress away. How do you take the stress away? How can somebody answer this for me? How do you take stress away from yourself?
You can do one thing that you like the most. For
Yes,
example, you can listen to music or do any of
yes,
your hobbies.
perfect. You can do that. Even if nothing else you feel like doing, talk to somebody. The best part is talk to somebody, right? And once you've talked it out, or you've got involved into any of your hobbies, whatever you love to do, whatever passion you have, and everyone does have a passion, it's only sometimes we become lazy and think about it. All right, I won't do it today. I'm fond of painting, but I need to go and get the paints. Now, the paints are not going to walk up to you. You need to get up and get those paints, right? So, for everything, you want to eat a mango, simply you've got to go and get the mango. The mango will be in its place. It's not coming down from the tree for you, right? Or you need to get it from the vendor. Or even if it is on your dining table, you need to get up, pick it up, and cut it out and eat it, right? And that's the best way to release stress. Everyone has their own way of releasing stress. You have to find a way for yourself. Something may work for me. Some people go into art therapy. The moment stress comes, they pick up a brush. Somebody loves to sing, starts humming. Maybe a sad song comes out, but that's taking out the stress from you, right? Then get fresh air, which is very important. And it's become a scarcity nowadays because fresh air is something which we've all been craving for. So, how do you get fresh air? Is it that you need to go out all the time? No, you don't need to go out. You do have windows, you do have a terrace, you do have a open courtyard in your house, whatever available. Nothing else, go to the window, open the window, get fresh air, then come back and do whatever you're doing. Nowadays, virtual world is taking a lot of fresh air away from us. And when we are away from the from the fresh air, virtual world is giving us so many benefits, yes, but what the earths can give us, nobody else can. And that fresh air will release so much energy into your system that you'll come back and do whatever you were doing in a much, much better way. No, you'll feel happy, you'll feel lighter. And once you're sitting in front of the screen, after a certain time, you will realize that, okay, now I'm bored, but then you tend to keep doing it because maybe there is some work to be accomplished, or just you're passing time and whiling away time also because you've got nothing else to do. So find things for yourself to do. And people say laugh. There are a lot of laughter exercises available. I personally feel that, all right, in the morning you can have a laughter exercise, but laughing from the heart is much more important. Crack a joke, tease your brother, sister, go and have a joke with your parents, whosoever is around you, your roommates, no, anybody. Laughing from within will make you the most healthy person on this earth, because if you are laughing, you're positive, isn't it? So give priority to yourself. Fix up times. If you feel that you don't get times, fix up a time, my time, write down somewhere my time and enjoy that my time. Let it be just you and whatever you want to do. It could be your gardening, your singing, your whatever you feel like, painting. Hmm? Even if nothing else, somebody would say, I love to sleep. As a child, I remember anybody would ask me, what do you what do you love doing? I would say, I love sleeping, right? But then it is not sleeping throughout the day. I would say I love sleeping, but then I could not sleep throughout the day, isn't it? I would sleep for a certain time. Whenever I felt that I need an energizer, I would go and sleep for an hour or so, and then once you are up, you're as fresh as new. Hmm? Anybody could do that. It's a personal thing how you energize yourself, right? Mahika, can I have the next slide, please?
Yes, ma'am. I was about to say the same thing when you asked how to stress away. I'll just go and sleep.
That's a good one. So Mahika's following me to the core. Right. So creating an ecosystem of success. Now, success again is a personal term. For me, success is when my students laugh, when I am visiting somebody in need, and when that person smiles, even for a small thing that I've made that person do. I don't do anything for anyone. I make people do what they want to, right? So one should never ever, even if you're doing something for somebody, don't make it an obligation, right? Do it in a manner that the person does it himself or feels that I've done it myself. And we should try to empower people by making them self-sufficient rather than, saying that, okay, I'm I have done something for you because I have the capability and you don't have. Capability everyone has. It's only a matter of opportunities which they don't and we have. So we should be proud of the fact that we have opportunities and we should help them out in whatever way we can, right? So a human centric approach is something which, when we talk about an ecosystem, it is all related, depending on each other, depending on dependence on something or the other for my achievement. If I want to become a millionaire, I would have to have people working for me to make me that millionaire, right? Because they would work and even I would work, but they would work for me to make me reach that position. Then I should acknowledge that part also. So, dependence, I should acknowledge that I am what I am because of these people. Then is this, I've hit bullseye only when I have taken everyone into consideration. If I singly say, I just shoot an arrow and reach bullseye, where is my arrow? I don't get anything. So collaborative culture is which leads you. So make a lot of friends, make a lot of people as make other people join you as a team, and not just do things. Uh, I can do it myself. So it can never be myself. It has to be a teamwork. So let people be a part of your team, be a part of you, and then once you do it happily, everyone will happily join your team. But if there is leg pulling which starts, sometimes it happens at your age group, I want to grow, but let me sideline the other person. No, you need to take that person along with you. Supposing, as a student, you are good at something and your friend is good at something else, so it's a very good team effort if both of you could collaborate and teach each other the things which you are lacking, right? And what then? Both of you become winners. And generally, that first position has been a mindset in everyone since time immemorial. I want to be first. What does first mean? In today's world, we saw the pandemic. Who was the one who came on the first scenario? Nobody. The virus did not see who is first or who is last. Wherever it had to go, it went, isn't it? So, what is the use of that first position? This made us introspect that first position will not matter. It is your knowledge, your uh, compatibility with your family, your friends, everyone that matters. Sometimes frustrations happen in during these days when we are under lockdown. We're not able to do much outside. Then what? What can we do? We can just be smiling, keeping positive. If we are positive, others around us will be positive for sure. And once we spread positivity, I am 100% sure everyone reaches a goal of happiness. The goal should be happiness, right? But yes, if you have careers in mind, you need to have a standard for yourself that, okay, I need to go, you need to look up to the standards of the competition which you are willing to, which you have to take as a part of the process of getting into that particular goal which you had set for yourself. So you need to know where you are leading and what you need to do for it, right? And for that, you need to have proper planning. Proper planning and the digital world is the most important one nowadays. You need to polish your skills. In fact, again, what you are not able to do, you learn. Where do you learn? Nowadays, you learn everything from the internet, right? You learn everything from peers as well, and you teach your parents and your elders also who do not know, don't you? I can see some of you nodding your heads that, and I'm so glad that you all are doing it, because it is the youth which is the future of the nation, right? So youth is the one which is the prominent, the generation for the next 5 years on, and you'll be ready to take over this generation, right? 5 years is not a big time. How the time will pass, you'll not realize also. But then that smile on your face, that happiness on your face and people around you, make an effort to uh, make the people around you smile along with your goals intact. Not just that I go on doing social work or I go on helping others and I'm not bothered about my ecosystem of success, because that also matters. So you have to learn to balance things. Remember, there's a balance, and whichever side the balance trips, that side weighs heavy. So we need to have a balanced outlook for everything. And if that outlook is right, it is positive, things to keep adding to it. Connectivity to the core, connect with everyone you know, but you can't do it every day, isn't it? You know 1000 people and you call up 1000 people every day, then where is the time for yourself? Whatever we've talked, we've not, isn't it? We've not accomplished then that. So we need to take care of all of it and be happy, organized, competitive, competitive in a healthy way. We need to polish ourselves. Let's set standards for ourselves. Be competitive within myself. I want to do better for myself from what I did last time. I don't know the other person, my friend or my sister or my brother. They did what, somebody got some percentage. I need to do it for myself. I got this one last year and last session. I want a better one. So better yourself. I hope I've not bored you to the entire system, right? I have been talking. My experience tells me that few of your faces are showing smiles. So I'm very happy that I could make you smile, and your smiles made me smile, right? And all those who have questions can, of course, put them forward. I'm sure you've been doing that, and Mahika can take it up. So thank
Wow.
you. Be
Thank you
positive.
so much for this thought provoking and very well presented session. I myself feel very re energized and fueled for getting things done. And I am sure everyone also feels the same. And we'll now begin with the questionnaire session. And we have a few questions in the chat box since the event is also live streaming on YouTube. So
Mhm.
our team will check for any questions there as well. If
Right.
you want to ask it yourself, you can simply virtually raise your hands or I'll ask for you. Okay, so the first question is what is the difference between being productive and busy? How can I be productive? How can I be productive than busy?
Okay. So then again, you have to be smart there. You need to be productive, yet choose ways which are not, there are always, there's one thing. I'll show you with my hand. There's one way of holding the nose like this. This is a very common example I give. And there's one way of holding my nose like this. So if I hold it like this, it's a shorter way, right? So again, prioritize your work and then cut down to the shortest way possible, yet remembering that shortest way should not cut out the productivity part, because the outcome is very important, right? So your outcome is affected by the paths that you choose. Sometimes this path may only lead you to where you want to go, right? But then again, you have to list it out properly, and I'm sure you'll find the solution. While you're listing, the solution will lie there for you itself.
All right, thank you so much. The next question is I hope this answered your query. Next question is how can we make sure that whatever goals we set are related to our passion?
Yes, they may always not always relate to your passion, because, like I said, once you worked for something, I gave you an example of maths. If you don't know maths, you really hate it because you don't know the tables, right? Once you know the tables well, you start loving it. The passion starts seeping in. There was a time when somebody told me, I remember I was anxious about something at a certain time, and one of the elderly ladies in my family, she said, start pretending that you know this. No, it was about chemistry, right? She said, start pretending that you know this and you like chemistry. I did it for a day or two, and then I went back to her. I said, no, I still don't like it. She said, no, pretend for another 5 days. I went and did the same thing. And when I got my concepts clear in the process of pretending, I the concepts were clear and the thing went off. I was able to do well, right? So and I wouldn't say that it became a passion. It did not become a passion, but I was able to do well, right? Because I did not carry it forward further. So till the time I did it well. And it was not hating them. No, there is a difference between hate, like, and passion. So once you start doing something with knowledge, the liking starts developing, and then may arise to passion, right? I'm sure I've cleared it for you.
Yes, ma'am. I think definitely. Okay, so the next question is how we recognize the ecosystem that we are in. Is it good or bad? If it's bad, how can we avoid it?
Yes. The ecosystem you are in, make try to make a geo with it, right? Draw a diagram, take a diagrammatic representation, and think about it. Again, list out that this is what is good, this is what is bad, right? And then again check out the pros and cons, which weighs heavy. You have to balance again. You will realize if the cons are more, try not to get into it. Or if you think that you could remove those cons by working hard, you would be fine, because you can work on things. It's not that you can't work on things. And if you feel that, all right, even if I work so hard on it, I put in so many hours, or I put in so much of my work or time on it, and I don't get the output, then what is the fun of doing it? You can change. There is no harm in change. you know uh, it's not something. If you've started something and you keep sticking onto it without any maybe the outcome or your own inner satisfaction, there's no harm in. But don't give up something till you've tried and tested it properly. And listing out in a diagrammatic form will help you much better to take the decision of what you are into, right?
The next question is as we know that the pandemic can strike anyone regardless of their background, honestly, sometimes I feel tired and lazy with online class situations. What do you do if you are in this position, and what are your solutions to solve this problem? Thank you.
All right. So I have been in this situation. I was struck by COVID-19, and initially it was that I had been in minor contact with somebody, and since I knew about it, the moment I developed slight fever, I immediately went into isolation. And it was not a positive or a negative thought. It was just that because I knew that I had to isolate myself from my family, from my near and dear ones, nobody else's. So immediately, along with the thermometer at the same time, I went into isolation, and I spent 21 days there. Did have some bad bouts, but then I was able to make it through because of positivity, because of my I should say, because of my family, because of my peers, my friends, who kept me into positivity by themselves also giving me tasks. They would give me a task every day. My friends, I have a group of friends who would tell me, okay, today is your sari day, today is your dress day, wear this, or so and so color, you wear that. And it was so very motivating for me that yes, And I did not give up. I did continue taking up my work in the isolation itself. I never thought that, all right, I'm stuck, I can't do this, I'm not able to do. I thought that I will be able to do. Even in one of, there was one particular day when I was in the worst of position at night, but till 11:30 I had been working, because that possibly kept me. I was not out of work. If I had given up things, and then, there were certain days when I didn't have anything, I didn't have so many resources in that particular room. And from outside, I could not get too much into the room because I had to keep the hygiene and the sanitation in process also. So I got hold of some embroidery threads, old embroidery threads, and I made 5, 6 hankies in, maybe just 2 hours, which I couldn't have made. And that was the positive aspect that I was able to do. I followed my passion. Then I did some sketches, wild sketches. So wherever I found, I kept myself occupied. And that was something which helped me. And of course, my family, my friends, everyone was there to support me. And I should say my students as well, because I was taking classes. They knew I wasn't up to it. And sometimes certain of them would say that, ma'am, it's okay if you can't. So I would say, no, no, I'm able to, let's do it. And we were able to do. So being positive, uh, yourself being positive, having people around you, that's what I said, connectivity is important, right? Okay.
Yeah, you're truly an inspiration. Um, Next question is, how to not be scared of going out of comfort zone to make a room for self improvement.
Yes. You have to believe in yourself, right? Think that I can do it. Even if you sometimes think that, all right, I can't do it, pretend that you can do it. I've answered this earlier also. Pretend for a while that, all right, I can do it, right? Inner self might say, your conscious might say, okay, I can't do it. But you pretend that I can do it. And in that process, you'll be able to do it. Sometimes pretense can be a good factor for us all. So just list it out that this is what I have to do. And yes, plan it out. Whatever you want to do, plan it out and write it down. Maybe in your cell, you can write it down or set alarms for yourself. There are ways, or maybe I knew somebody who was scared. That child was not into rote learning. And you know what that child would do? Class 12's child, not a younger one, would put down on strips of paper the important notes, whatever the history, dates, or whatever they were, and staple them on curtains across the room. And that child shared with me that this is how I do. And I really felt like, because that's something to help yourself. And that child was able to scrape through the paper, because that was one way of, had short memory. The child had some disability, couldn't do it, but the sight words made him, all the while he was walking around in his room, he would see those dates, and which made him that visual, which made that visual impact, and never went out of his head, and he was able to do good, right? So we have to find out ways. Hope
Okay,
that
so
satisfies whosoever asked this.
I think this was the last question in the chat box. If there's anything else anybody wants to ask, please raise your hand or put it in the chat box.
See, sometimes mm, silence is good, sometimes it is different. So I take it the silence is good, because I'm seeing certain smiles on some people whose faces are visible. I'm seeing smiles on almost all faces, and that's making me happy. And thank you, everyone, for having me around. And I loved sharing my experiences with you all. And I hope that all of you enjoyed this journey and will continue with this journey as happy people.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining us and this super insightful and thoughtful session. And your advice for the roadmap and the building the perfect ecosystem for success is especially useful. And please accept our little token of appreciation or thanks for being here despite your busy schedule. And we're so glad that you could join us. And I think I myself am very fueled and have got that motivation that I needed. And can I now please request everybody else to please switch on their cameras and pose for a group picture? Okay, I'll have to click two because there are 43 participants. So I'll click the first one in one, two, and three. Thank you so much. Please hold on for another one. Okay. One, two, and three. Thank you. Now, without extending the event any longer, I would like to thank all the attendees for joining us and my team and all the volunteers, Anilisi, Asrina, Putri, Ananda, Tini Kunji, Midhat, and Lamya for their immense hard work behind making this event successful. And of course, Sissy, Tata, Mr. Mufli, and the whole GMMN Secretariat for their constant help. We'll now be sharing a link to the feedback form in the chat box and later in the WhatsApp group too. Kindly fill that out to claim your international certificate. Thank you so much. You may now choose to leave the meeting room once you see the feedback form link in the chat box. Thank you so much. Have a great day ahead.
Thank you.
Sissy, can you please put down the feedback form? I see some amazing feedback in the chat box itself. We are glad that you enjoyed it. All right, I think we'll just put it in the WhatsApp group if it's not possible here, or I think there's some issue. Never mind. Thank you so much for joining. We'll soon share the feedback form link in the WhatsApp group. Please keep a check on that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. I think most of the participants have left. I think I see only. Um, can you stop sharing the computer sound, please? Thank you. I want to thank all of you. I'll not take any longer, and I know you all have other commitments, but cheers to us for finishing this event very successfully. And if there's any participant in this meeting, please avoid our excitement. And thank you so much for the hard work you have been putting in from last, what, 2, 3 weeks. And I think it was a great hit. What do you guys think about it? Just say it now. I don't think there's anybody.
Well, for me, I'm gonna. Okay. Well, for me, I can say nothing. Just you are all doing great, and you are. Thank you so much for all of your hard work, and especially thank you so much for the volunteers because you helped Mahika a lot. I can see that you helped Mahika a lot, and actually, at first, I have this concern that Mahika will do all of it alone, and with just Lamia and Midhat, the three of them, it will be very hard for them. So thank you so much for attending this webinar and the volunteers. Please wait for your certificate because we have made your certificate. And yeah, I think just that from me.
All right. Anybody else, or we'll just end the meeting? And can we have